going to give a few others a little bit of time to come in this morning, but it's rising, as I like to say. I like to refer as my first part of the days as a rising. All right, we're going live. We are live. All right, if you are in the building wherever you are, let's let's hear you in the chat. Let's see you in the chat. Let's whoever you are, wherever you are, give a shout out to whoever's here right now as we get started. And we're going to be talking about the mysteries of the new moon on today. Today, officially, I think around maybe mid part of the day, the new moon will be most active. So we're sort of voiding through is a void of course, and we're sort of passing through right now to the next sign of the moon. What's up, Charnay? How are you? Shout out to Art of Pisces. It was a beautiful ceremony that I actually attended last night, which I was like, whoa. I was having so many different dreams and downloads and uploads all coming in at the same time. Beautiful sister Charnay out here in Las Vegas. She did a sound bath ascension ceremony. And when I tell you it's like for me one of the best sound healing events that I've been to in a long time. So I appreciate that. We're actually gonna do one of those. We're gonna do a breathing exercise that I actually learned from her last night. It was very, very, very effective. Who else we got in the chat? I think I saw. Who else we got? Ivy. Risings from Texas. How are you? How are you? Ivy is a really good friend of mine. Long time. Like a big sister for a long time. We got Junda. Junda Ross, aka Ocean Funke, the Great Queen, tuning in. Also, Ocean Funke also is the founder of Women of the Tao, which is a program that actually helps women all over the planet heal specific areas of their bodies with trauma, childhood traumas, and things that have been, dark or kept secret or sort of trapped inside for a long time. Ocean Funke facilitates a lot of different ceremonies. Glad to have you also here. Who else do we have? We have anybody else coming in? I'm just kind of going through these chats real quick, you all. Yes, thank you, Charnay. We are going to do that alternative nostril breathing, which is very effective, by the way. It's an old ancient technique. I used to do this a while back when I was training to become a yoga instructor. This was like maybe 15 years ago, maybe. So I've been doing yoga for about maybe 15 years. I've been dancing for about 16 years. Been doing martial arts for longer than that, about 22 years. And as being an artist from childhood, I've always wanted to find a way to sort of convert what I was feeling and thinking, what I would draw into my body, and actually use my body as a vessel, as an instrument. As dancers, as movers, we use our bodies as paintbrushes. That's what a lot of the great choreographers and directors that I've worked with in the industry for a while used to always motivate me and helping me understand that my body is an instrument, which is why it's so important to concentrate on the breath. No matter what we're doing, we're always breathing. Something that we do not have to think about is breathing. The body just does it on its own. It just like a heartbeat, you know. And so when we're conscious of our breath and conscious of our thoughts and conscious of our feelings, our emotions, and how we're flowing our energy, or the chi, the structure of the energy, that's when we're able to actually take our lives to the next level, which is what we're going to be talking about. The main topic of today is the mysteries of the new moon, doorway into the spirit of Aquarius. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm gonna start out with a question, and I want you all to engage in the chat. You know, also like, subscribe to this channel, like this video, so we can actually get this information out. You know, this is not my information. I do my own research and my own, studies and things like that. But this is not just my information. This is everyone's information. It's just information that we all sort of like pick up here and there. I always would say to anyone, all information is correct. There are no wrong answers at all with anything. It's just different perspectives. You know, it's like sitting inside of a theater. You know, there is one central stage that you may be focusing on, but there's so many different angles that you can sit in a theater and experience that same show, different and from different perspectives in different ways every time you go and sit in a different location. So I like to look at things as far as perspective. This year I had some great teachers that were sharing with me. You know, they share with me, they say, Oba, make sure you own in on your perspectives on life, you know, to not look at things as good or bad, or this is evil, this is no, it says no, you have to throw this stuff out, because this year is about to be a different year. Like we said in our last live, this is the year of 7, 2023. If you add those numbers up in numerology, represents the year 7, which is transformation, something dying off, and another thing being rebirthed. Sort of like initiative period, but initiative period of the energy, the structure of our energy. So it's going to be very important to animate the energy even more. If you have not already been feeling this, these different waves and cosmic waves have been hitting the planet. And a lot of the innovative speakers have been speaking on this as well. It has a lot to do with money. It has a lot to do with water. It has a lot to do with air and the oxygen that is circulating through our body. So, what does this mean? That's the question. What does it mean? Let me get a few people to see if we can get some people to, share some insights on their idea of the Aquarius season. Even though we're coming into Aquarius season on today, we're also, it's Aquarius moon, as well as we are in Aquarian age. It's like a 3-hitter right there. What does that mean? What does that really mean? Aquarius represents something very powerful. Very powerful. Um, I have here spirit as being consciousness, Aquarian age, which is the golden age. Golden means ratio, the sacred number of 9, the divine 9, the sacred spiral. The spiral being the innovative path to expansion by way of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What does that mean? What does that mean? By way of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Expansion. Aquarius energy represents something being expanded, something spiraling out, being innovative, looking at things differently, not looking at things the same way that the world looks at it, not falling into the ways of the world, the chaos, a lot of the political drama, the relationship drama. Just there's a lot of fear being spread on the planet, and it's a dis-ease, but at the same time, it's like for some beings that are on this level, it's like dopamine. It's like a shot of sugar. So this is one thing that we must really ground ourselves into understanding, is that we are the sovereign masters of our reality. We are the sovereign masters of our reality. We're the ones that are able to change, to restructure our lives in the way we want to experience our lives. And one of the ways that we like to do that is in our academy, in our school, we like to share the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of things. So if we are educated on vibration, we are educated on behavior, we are educated on psychology, the workings of the mysteries of the planet, and how the platonic shifts, platonic styles are shifting, the elemental energies are spiraling, or um, cosmically moving around us at all times. You know, we're living in multi dimensions. This is all something that is it's not just only spirit, it's also where spirit and science meets. This is where they both, the scientists and spiritual priests and priestesses of the planet, will come together, and they all agree on the same thing, that we all operate inside of a system, a cosmic matrix, something that was designed millions, billions, trillions, could be trillions of years ago, and it's just a continuous understanding that Earth is a way of transformation. Earth is a planet of transmutation. Earth is a planet where we come and we resolve, past life karmas. We dissolve situations or blockages within ourselves. We get that chi moving so we don't build up a dis-ease state. So there's a lot of fear, chaos being thrown out into the world. And it's pretty much like, when you cast out, when you're fishing. We used to fish back in the day. I'm from Mississippi. I'm a Southern, but I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. But and my grandparents, they own their own land. They own around like 7.5 acres. Beautiful house. For me, it was like a jungle. Mississippi, if those that may know, in the South, that area is very, very forestry. It's very beautiful. It's very magical. I used to always run back into the backyard and go far back, even places that I didn't supposed to go back then, but I was just so curious, and I always loved, like, going into nature and just like really discovering, through my books. It was always me looking at my books and going out to nature trying to find what was in my books. But I used to always go back, far back. We had our own lake back there, and it was a very interesting feeling of when I would go out there and what that felt like. And so it's just, we used to fish all the time. And so one of the concepts that I like to use is, whatever we are experiencing, we're the ones that are actually casting out our own fishing line with the bait. The specific bait that we put on the fishing line is the specific type of fish that we're trying to attract. So a lot of the times it still spirals back. A spiral still spirals back into the self before it has to expand out. It's for us to be able to look back into ourselves or look within ourselves and ask ourselves and say, is this really something that I want to continue to experience? Is this something that I really want to continue feeling? Is these type of movies or this type of show is something that I really want to continue watching? How does it make me feel? Do I feel excited because I am in a fear state? Because fear also can feel good. Why? Because it still shoots off some dopamine. uh, some of us have an addiction to sugars and addiction to different elements, salt, things like that. And a lot of these different elements are connected to different chakras in the body. It's connected to different channels in the body. It's also connected to different organs. And so these organs operate a specific way. All organs must operate on their natural vibrational state. And so if it's fear being pumped into, let's say, the kidneys, and if it's fear being pumped into the kidneys, instead of the kidneys illuminating with this beautiful, like a vibrant blue color, like the ocean, it may sort of turn into more of a brownish color because it's not really getting the chi flow, the energy, the life force energy, the flow that it needs. It's not getting where maybe we're overindulging on scary movies that actually gives you this shock feeling. It may feel good because it's like, oh my God, it's so exciting, but at the same time, that same shock feeling, the body don't know the difference, what it's experiencing. The same shock feeling is in a negative format. And so what it does, it reverses the body, the osmosis of the body, and how the body is going to function now because it's confused. it's like, wait, we're enjoying someone getting slaughtered. We're enjoying, so it's based on the vibrational energy, what we cast out into the waters, into the ether, into the oceans, or into the universe, or into the cosmic realm, is exactly what shoots back. Even more so this year, like if you have not already checked out our last live video, definitely check that one out after this one. And I really break down that number of seven, the seven C's, and how we're manifesting this year even more. Um, it'll be more frequent. The way we manifest this year based on just thought, visualization, and training the mind to really be in the moment is what we're catapulting to right now. Yes, exactly, exactly. I have it in here in the chat. Thank you, Miss Jonda, Ocean Phone Case. You said the body starts to pump cortisol and shuts down the immune system. That's absolutely correct. So be mindful of what baits we're throwing out. What are we looking for? What are we searching for? What are we fishing for? This is really a year to expand the horizons on something you really wanted to do ever since you were a child. Something that, if you was not conditioned or tampered with from birth, what would you have done naturally? Would you have become an astronaut? Would you have wanted to build a ship and really sail the seas? Would you want to travel? This year is one of those years. Travel is going to be in your favor this year. It is something that you are vibrating on, something you're wishing to manifest. So before we get started, we're going to do this. We're just going to get centered and seated. All right, and we're going to practice our breathing just to kind of center ourselves and get into the moment. Then we're going to move into a little deeper into this subject. And we won't be long here. We're going to get a little bit into Qigong, as far as talking about Qigong and how that is so important with this moon. As I promised, a lot of times I give away free moon rituals. So at the end of this video, we will give away a free new moon ritual, something you can do. Really, it's a ritual you can do on any moon phase, but it's very extra potent during this new moon. And the new moon represents us planting new seeds and building up to the full moon of manifestation. Okay, so if I can get you to, either if you're sitting or lying down, it's fine. Just get comfortable, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in and exhale. Focus on the now moment, who you are, what you are. Inhale, exhale. We're going to calm the mind. We're going to release all the fears, all the problems from yesterday, all the worries of tomorrow. We're just going to sit in this present moment, the moment of the gift that we're given right now. Inhale again. Exhale. As you inhale, feel your chest expanding, taking in that good prana, that good oxygen, and releasing any stagnation, any anxiety, any self-negative talk. Inhale. Exhale. Alright, so what we're going to do, since we have 5 fingers that are represented as elements, we're going to take the thumb and we're going to take the pinky. And what we're going to do is alternate. These fingers are going to close. We're going to alternate. Here we're going to be representing the energies of fire and water. So we're going to be connecting the Merkaba. This year we will be activating the Merkaba a lot, and I will be sharing in the description, and we will possibly have it here linked into the chat, where we'll be having these live Merkaba breathwork activation, live Qigong classes, seminars, and we're going to have discussions on, Qi this year, a lot of energy work, how Reiki is used to heal the body and cure diseases and things like that. We also will be sharing herbs, the medicinal herbs and plants of the world, some of the top 40 plants in the uh, North American continents and the continent, and how a lot of the plants connect to other continents as well. So, all right, so we're gonna take these two fingers and let's close down the right nostril, and we're going to inhale through the left nostril. Deep inhale. We're gonna hold it for 3 seconds, and we're gonna take the pinky. We're gonna close the opposite nostril and exhale through the right. We're gonna do that same thing again. Inhale. Alternate. Exhale. Again. Inhale. Exhale. This is the alternating nostril breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. And just relax for a second. As we sit here in the moment, feel the energies activate. While we are here, you can close your eyes and join me here on a visual meditation. While we are here, what I would like you to do is imagine a large triangle that is descending from the heavens above your head, connecting to your crown chakra, and it's engulfing your body. As it inserts over your body, you're now inside of this triangle. Visualize the color you would like this triangle figure to be for you. It could be purple, it can be pink. Whatever color pops up in your visual mind is the color that is needed. It is color therapy. It is the vibrational energy that is needed at the moment. What I would like you to do as you breathe, you inhale deep, exhale, and you're going to start to see that triangle spin to the left. Each time you inhale, you're going to crank that triangle up. Exhale, release, and you spin it in your mind. Start to see this triangle spinning to the left faster as it's orbiting around your body, around your shoulders. Beautiful. Now as we inhale, we're going to draw up a second triangle that will be turned upside down from the center of the earth mother, the feminine energy. We're going to pull this up. Inhale. Almost imagine as if you are putting on the triangle, as if you're putting on your pants, and it's actually covering the bottom half of your legs and your lower back. Exhale. As you inhale, you're going to see this visual pyramid spinning to the right. It has a right spin on it. So as we inhale, we crank it up, and we exhale, allow it to spin. Now we're going to merge both together. The top triangle will be spinning to the left, and the bottom triangle that's facing downward, upside down pyramid, will be spinning to the right. As we encapsulate ourselves inside of our Merkaba, which is what this is called, the Merkaba, spiritual vehicle in which we are able to transcend and travel to many planes and many multi-dimensional multiverses. From within, we're able to astral travel with this technique. As we inhale again, we're going to allow both to spin simultaneously. Use your mental mind, your mind's visual aid as your aid. Inhale, exhale, spin. Beautiful. Sit in a moment. What colors do you see? What colors pop up? It's one of the first things you may feel is a color. Feel free to comment in the chat. What are you feeling? This is one of the first signs of a healer learning how to heal with energy is the feeling, the energy itself. What do you feel? And if you have paper and pen, a notebook, you can write these techniques down and something you can practice on anytime. Anytime. Best time I like to practice is early risings. I like to do it sometimes just in the middle of the day if I feel like I need to really activate myself or really ground myself before I engage upon another conversation, before I engage in a room full of people, in a meeting, even when I just go out, in my environment, is something that I love to do. And the color that you vibrate on, yes, I'm seeing some beautiful, I'm loving these comments. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Yeah, the colors that we're vibrating on, if you believe it or not, everyone that's here in the chat together, we are creating a sort of a prisma. We're creating our own chakra system. So a lot of us will be holding down one color while the other one's holding another color. And a lot of times the colors that you are having, you're sensing or feeling, is something that's connected, to your vibrational system. It could be something that you may need. It could be something that someone else that you're probably about to meet needs. It could be something that is trying to communicate energetic energies, your own energy centers wishing to communicate upon the next mission. Okay, and that kind of brings us into the new moon. The new moon is all about that. This new moon, I would say, is one of the most powerful new moons for the simple fact, yes, it is Aquarius energy, which is a very, very extremely powerful energy. We're in the Aquarian age, which is AKA the golden age. The golden age is the age where all things you touch become golden. Literally. I'm going to say that literally. I'm going to say it again. All things that we shall touch this year will become golden. It's very important to speak as if you know that you know. The creed or the personal energy, vibrational chant for the Aquarius is I know. I know. I know what I know. It is not out of arrogance. No, it's out of pure understanding. Doing the work. Aquarius is a symbol that has traveled through all of the signs and has passed through the Capricorn, which is the sacrificial energy of hard work, of understanding how to exchange energy for service. Um, and so it governs the career. 10th house of Capricorn governs the career, our organizations, and how we structure our foundations of how we bring in our income or how we even bring in our families. It's very family oriented. It's very about the structure. As you notice, as we pass through the Capricorn season, I'm quite sure a lot of you had to turn inward with a lot of your personal affairs, and this is all natural. So when we move from the 10th house into the 11th house, we're going into the 11, which is two ones, which is represented as a couple, a pair. Also, it represents as a doorway, something being open, something being able to be harnessed or manifested. So we're talking about the energies of harnessing the energies of this moon, based on our rotational experiences, how we have evolved through the revolutions of life. Um, this is our test. This is our journey. This is our celebration. This year is a year of celebration. If you're here, even on this live, this is all. There are no coincidences. This is all meant. We're all here for a specific purpose. And so this age of Aquarius, we're moving into this new fifth dimensional plane. The fifth dimensional plane is governed by way of power of manifesting the mind thought. Thoughts become things. That's the motto for this is the motif for this year. Thoughts become things. It's very important to note that our affirmations, our voice, the way we use our throat chakra, the way we communicate, the way we engage, even energetically, it's going to be very hard to hide things this year. You can, um, we have different ways of communication. We have body language, we have eye contact, we have our we use our hands. Some of us, like artists, we use our hands. Like me, I use my hands a lot. There is no proper or normal way to do anything. It's based on your vibrational energy. And so when we study energy, when we study human design, when we practice qigong, and what we're doing is we're connecting ourselves with the earth energy. We're connecting ourselves with nature so that we understand that everything is as it is. Nothing's wrong with nothing. No one's, even someone that is impaired or is missing something, or they look different, that is absolutely okay. Why? Because the energy of what we're speaking on, Aquarius, represents the innovative understanding of being different. Being different, as being different is the way. Meaning, the structures and the laws and the things that we've been following, okay, cool, we can go along with that. But what is the newest way of doing something? How can we think so far outside of the box, that we expand the mind so far into other realms that we can actually communicate with our higher selves, the selves that we actually have passed up, you know? And we can connect and merge those spirits together, and we can come up with some formula or enlightenment here in the present moment to do things completely different, rewriting history, being innovative, pioneers, and creating new ways of doing everything, you know? And this is the structure of this moon. And this is why it's very important for this new moon to manifest with thought, to enhance the thoughts, to enhance the breath, to enhance the chi, the energy, and how we move, how we practice. I was talking to a friend last night after her event, which is, I know she's on here, Art of Pisces. Shout out to Art of Pisces for a beautiful sound bath ascension event last night. It was very, very healing, very, very calming. And I recommend, if you are in the Vegas area, or if you have not already heard of her, please follow her information. But I was speaking with her, and last night, and one of the things that we were discussing is that, the power of, there are no coincidences. Things are literally synchronized, just like numbers are. There are no coincidences. Things are synchronized to be right in that moment, in that timing. So the key to understanding this Aquarius energy, or the Aquarian age, is timing. We may hear this a lot, that the key to success, or the key to unlocking the success or workings of the world, is timing. I truly believe that, because a lot of things that are forced don't last long. It may seem, um, that fast car that we see just drives like phew, and it looks nice, beautiful sport. It may seem cool, it may seem amazing, but in the structure of the streets or the roads that we may be driving on, it may be so far out of alignment with the energy flow. You can almost, if you watch cars and traffic, if you are in a place where you live in traffic, one of the techniques in Qigong we like to do is study the energy, the Qi patterns of the cars on the highway. You can almost predict things when you do so. Not all the time, but you can sort of internally, your mind can become like a frequency, um, uh, like a frequency coder. It can literally connect with the energy vibration of traffic. And so a lot of times, if you see this fast motorcycle or a fast car, and I love motorcycles, I used to have, like, oh my God, I think I've spent, in my dance career, I probably spent half of my my uh, money on motorcycles. I used to collect motorcycles. Like, it's okay, yeah, crazy. But so I do understand this, and it's a very powerful, beautiful thing. But On that road, it may be a road that's, I mean, the speed limit may be no more than 50 miles per hour, 60 miles. And just imagine a car, a very fast car that's going about 150. Shoom. It's very stimulating, yes, but it is in the context of the flow of that chi space, of that environment, it is out of alignment. So it won't last long. It will always have to come to an immediate stop. And so when we look at our lives and how we're moving, especially with this new moon coming up, this new moon is asking us to set things up, set your ducks in a row. Why? So you don't have to run into anything that's going to be too crazy later down the road. Yeah, you're going to have some wiggle room. You're going to have some some things that you may have to work on. You're gonna have a few obstacles here and there. Some things are gonna set you back, which is it's meant to be. It's tests that we have to go through, and these are our tests of our own destinies that we've chosen. But ultimately, what we'll be able to do is breathe in the motion, breathe in the moment. As we're moving, we can breathe. I practice this when I do my daily work. You know, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm moving, if I'm, changing my son's diapers, whatever I'm doing, I am breathing. I'm focusing on doing my best to practice constantly on my breath, being in the present moment. Am I present right now? You know, when I'm playing with my son, am I present in the moment, or am I thinking about the thing that I have to do or where I have to go, or am I still thinking about what happened earlier today? So being in that present moment is one of the main ways we're going to be able to harness the timing of success this year, especially this new moon. This new moon is going to be it's even more powerful uh, because we're able to channel this new moon as a form of technology. Why? Aquarius represents innovative technology, new era of something breaking out that's new, brand new. You know, I have some Aquarius friends. I have some friends that are Aquarius, and when I tell you they do not age, I don't believe it. I don't know if anybody on here is Aquarius, but yeah, they don't age. This is a sign that they look the same. I have a friend that I was in college. We went to college together, and we had a dance. I had a dance club that I created um, because I wanted to create something that was external from our original dance program that we had in the college. Because we had some hip hop in there, but it wasn't like the hip hop that, like street dance and hip hop. I wanted to bring back some old school, I wanted to bring back some that disco feel, but like the B boys and like, so we brought together a dance crew, and we had classes going, in college. We would meet, inside of a gym. We would go train weights, and then we would go inside of the studio, and we would practice head spins and things like that. And so it got to a point, where I was like, okay, I had a friend, and it got to a point where I used to wonder. I still wonder. She don't look the same. She do. Well, I'm sorry. She looks the exact same. This is what I meant to say. She looks the exact same way now. And this was like, ooh, I don't even know how many years it's been since I've been in college. It's been some years. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. But she hasn't aged. And I had another friend that actually went professional as a dancer when we used to train together, and he just looked exactly the same. So I really do feel that specific signs, on the zodiac wheel, they have their thing, they have their strengths, and they have their understanding, their workings of energy. When it comes to energy, they really understand naturally in the natural flow of how to harness their energies. Like a Pisces is naturally has a balance that maybe some other signs just don't have. They're very deep and intuitive energies. They just really truly can feel differently. And it may be because Pisces is governed by the feet, and maybe because they're so connected to the earth, and they can literally just hear Big Mama Earth like telling them, "Hey, go this way, do that, don't do that." This is what we're feeling. And so some are very intellectual, some are very uh, driven as far as action, energy, body wise, and you can see the structure. So it's really cool when you get into the elemental understandings of different zodiac signs. But From this one, looking at the moon as being technology, we're able to harness the energy of the moon just by way of visualization, connecting to our centers and connecting to our desires in a way where it can become now technology, just like we use a cell phone. We can use the mind the same way. We can telepathically connect from different areas and different angles of the planet, and even different dimensions within our own dimension. We're living inside of a dimensional sort of a simulation, and we're inside of something that's also working in different planes. So it's beautiful how do we can connect this way if when we open ourselves up to it. The moon is also considered a cosmic clock, meaning some like myself, I literally do everything on the moon. I don't really necessarily go by the our normal calendar as much as I do the moon, because sometimes the moon can shift in certain points, astral points, and equinoxes and things can shift based on the platonic shifts uh, each year. And the pole shifts. Like right now, the poles are completely flipping, almost opposite than it's ever been in like the last 10,000 years. So this shifts everything. It shifts the weather. You'll see a lot of weather phenomenon going on, and this is a year of like innovation, things being new. So you're gonna see some new stuff you've never seen before, going on all in the world. The moon is also considered when it's a cosmic, as for a cosmic clock, cosmic calendar, and they have ancient moon calendars that were designed by way of a turtle's back. So this is a very old technique that we're using when we're using the new moon and the periods and the cycle of the moon. We're talking about the new moon as elemental energy. We're talking about something that's being planted, something that we can push into that dark voided space. And dark voided space is like dark matter, meaning light that has not been manifested yet. It's a container. It's a container where we can hold something, just like a mother that holds a baby for 9 months. What she's doing is she's designing this being. She's cooking it. She's slow cooking it, and all of the ladies that cook, you know what I mean. It's different when you slow cook something and it simmers for a long time. The taste is just a little different, a little bit more earthy and authentic than if it's done really fast. So things that take longer, a lot of times they last longer. So when a child is being developed, it's a 9 month period. And it's that number again we talked about, nine. It's very interesting. There's another question I would like to dish out if anybody here in the chats would like to chime in on why is it that women hold a baby for 9 months? Why? What is the significance of the nine? The number nine. What could that mean in terms of creation? Something being developed and something being ready to come out and actually be. That is a very powerful number. Nine is also represented as a spiral and also as a G. And G meaning G force or the force of light. The light itself, light vibration, how light manifests. And the first thing that came within creation is within all the biblical texts and all of the religions and spiritual texts is uh, in the beginning there was what? The word or the sound, vibration. And so this is the format of when we are talking about speaking, affirming into this new moon. We're planting the desires and planting the seed of growth. This the moon energy itself represents water, something that's very receptive, something that's very magnetic, something that is like a very mysterious element because there's so many different particles that go and compound energy that goes along with it. It's so old, it has so much memory in it. We don't know what to call it. you know it's very yin, very understanding. This is by way of, as well as the color silver. If you see the moon, if you ever see the moon, if you ever had an ocean view, I remember when we were living in Costa Rica, I would go out at night and I would just only go out to moon gaze because the moon was so large and it was just like it was sitting in the sky. Like I can grab it like a sticker and pull it. Was sitting right there on, and I used to love to see the reflection of the silver glistening light. um, it looked like silver, like actual liquid silver water, just reflecting on this on the ocean. I used to love to just go and see that. But if you notice how the moon uh, responds or reacts, causes water to respond and reacts to the magnetic energies being pushed and pulled away. That's when I noticed that the waves are actually responding to the moon. And so the moon represents the waves. So when the waves are calm, the moon is at a calm state. When the waves are rushing and going back and forth, there's a lot of energy that could be bouncing back and forth from the moon. And that's why when the full moon comes, that's one of the reasons why we may feel very, very heightened on energy, very heightened, very energetic, very more likely to go out and do things. And sometimes it's a great time to purge energy because it could be an extremity of energy, which is what we're going to get into very soon about chi. So the attributes of this moon, the new moon that we're flowing into, is actually gravitating us to the flow state. Being in a flow state, being steadfast, understanding how to work the perseverance in our lives, being calm, being very, very calm. If we are somewhat tipped on a balanced scale, and if our natural state is to be, let's say, um, to be in a calm state, if over time we overly do that, there it creates a natural disbalance of. So if we're too calm for too long, it becomes extremely passive, meaning it's more likely to not take action, more likely to not be spontaneous and do things differently, or when the shifts or when the planet asks us to change, some of us can get stuck. We can get very trapped in our ways that we've been doing because we've made it work for us. It's worked up to this point, but then sometimes the universe may say, "Hey, listen, what has worked for the last 30 years is not going to work. This day forward, we got to make a decision." And so it's really good to have the understanding of balancing chi during the certain points of the moon, because each moon may have a different sign that's connected to it. So the moon is very, very multi-changeable. So it's like she may feel, if she's going through Aries, she may feel lit, like just powerfully on fire. You may not understand this because you may not know that, oh my God, I need to check the moon. What is the moon? What's happening with the moon right now? Because my moon is connected to my emotions. If my emotions are feeling this way, it's a possibility something is happening above my head. And most of the time, we're not trained to look up. We're trained to look where? Down. And so what we do, the Taiji pole or the connection of the crown, it is out of alignment with the cosmic centers of being straight up or having the spine in more of an erected state. It's very important. And so yes, the moon just is continuously moving and spiraling. It doesn't stay in one sign no more than about 2 or 3 days, and it's already moving to the next sign. So it's constantly changing, which is us. We're constantly changing. We're never still, even though we're still. There's small little micro organisms and molecules and different things that are passing through our pathways and our channels and the water levels, and every time we breathe and we expand and contract, things are being purged out and pushed out, thoughts are moving through, and frequencies outside of us and sound waves we're just swimming in. So there's a lot going on, so it's very important to be conscious of what's happening around us, and to be in a calm state, because a lot of this is going to be happening even more so, moving ahead. So my next question: what is chi? Let me get some of you to. I see a lot of some beautiful comments here. All right, let me get a few more shout outs. Shout out to Nikki, Michelle. Thank you for tuning in. All right, yeah. Shanae, yep, 12. Yeah. Okay, and okay, yeah, all right. All right, so All right, if you're just coming in, no problem. Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. We're just flowing on some information. If you got some notes, we're gonna actually I'm gonna give a few more notes out for you for the new moon. You can always replay this um, video. You can also check out our last video that we did where we actually broke down the number 7 of this year being 2023, revealing the secrets of the number 7. And I love numerology. I love numbers. I've always loved numbers and how they sort of like add up towards the end, because a lot of the times, numbers are very tricky. They move, and so yes. What is chi? What is chi? I see a answer in the chat. Thank you, Miss Ivy. Chi is our life force. Actually, that it was a question that actually is the answer. Beautiful. The question that is the answer. Yes, the answer is in the question. Chi is life force energy. Without chi, we cannot exist. I have something here that I'll read for you, and I will read in a way where you can take notes as well. So chi means life force energy. There you go. And gong, and we're talking about chi gong, means skill. So chi, life force energy, and gong, Gong, which is kind of like the sound gong. It means skill. Qigong is the skillful practice of gathering, circulating, and applying the life force energy. Is that not a mouthful? So Qigong practices are divided in three main schools of Qigong. Medical, where you're focusing the Qi on healing the body, healing disease, um, um, and balancing out the dysfunctional parts of the body that is medically out of alignment. It sort of become like the medicine. It replaces the traditional way that we may think medicine should be administered. There's another school of it is martial. So there's a martial arts side to chi or qigong as well. It's where you're using your chi in a martial arts aspect to train the mind, body, and spirit, to get the body in motion, to get the body to understand how to move through those vortexual energies and dimensions with martial arts. Martial arts is very, very spiritual as well, which is the third one, the last school. It's a spiritual qigong, which you're really concentrating on chants. You're concentrating on using the visualizations when you're harnessing chi. When you're moving through chi and qigong, using the techniques of your spiritual aspects as well. So this is very important to understand when we're moving and sort of working with energy or chi. Reiki is the same. So qigong again is the skill or practice of moving life force energy, moving the chi around. There's so many different techniques, and one of the ones medical schools, they actually train doctors, our traditional doctors in the West, and certain healers. They would actually bring them all together, and they would actually one of their programs they eventually have to get to is understanding chi, or understanding how chi life force energy is moving through the body. Um, so qigong, health maintenance for qigong brings out longevity, disease prevention, and a diagnosis and treatment of diseases and disorders, mainly focusing on purging the body, detoxifying the body of pathogens, tonifying the body, strengthening the body to its highest potential, strengthening the internal organs and the internal systems, and regulating the body to its natural state. It's very important. So when we look at the moon is a moving being. It's always waning and waxing. Chi is always waning and waxing. When the moon is at a dark period, which is now, the new moon is in a place where it's sort of open to accepting what you desire. Your affirmations, your self talk, how you speak to yourself. Um, All of this is going to sort of manifest or combine. It's going to create a combination of what you will receive, what we will receive back as a snapback during the full moon. Sometimes it happens faster than others, and sometimes it happens very slow. So my next question is, how can we, as beings, we're light beings, how can we harness this chi energy? You know, how can we harness the chi and experience it? You know, how could we do that? Anybody in the chat, how could we, what could we do to bring in more of this chi flow in our lives? You know, how can we use chi and combine it with the working of the moon, especially this Aquarius moon? When we're talking about Aquarius being energetic energy, Aquarian energy also represents electricity, electrical charges, which is what the body is mainly made up of: electricity and water. You know, the current, or how currency, things flow, the flow state, the zone, the in between, where time stops. There is no time. You know, one of the martial arts that I always grew up and studied is Bruce Lee. And you know, everybody knows about Bruce Lee. Whether you train martial arts or not, you knew the symbol of the understanding of Bruce Lee, his consciousness, his mentality, and what made him him. You know, and the story and the determination of this being, why he was so powerful. And one of the things that Bruce Lee tapped into was the all energy. He tapped into a universal energy. He tapped into his kundalini, or that chi. And so he was so fast because in his perception, he had moved through a slit place where time didn't exist. Everything was slow. And so he was faster than the normal because he was living in a time space. He was living in a dimensional space where there was no time. So by instincts, his martial art was thought by instinct. Everything he did was based around the same concept of that flow state, which was very, very innovative. There's other famous names that we may know about. Kobe Bryant, late Kobe Bryant, was the same way. Kobe Bryant would train, and a lot of the other players would say they didn't understand. You know how Kobe Bryant would just literally blank out. He would just go somewhere. He's not himself. He would leave his body, and his body would be taken over by a different thing. He was just in an alternative space, and they call that the flow zone. James Brown did it when he performed. If you ever watched some of James Brown, I used to study James Brown when I performed, and I tried to understand his footwork. The footwork he was doing was like cosmic codes. You know, it was very ancient footworks and steps. I'm really looking at his footwork, and I was looking at the Zulu tribes, and you know, and I was just like, wow, these some real cosmology here. This is some very deep stuff going on. But he would go into that same uh, space. Michael Jackson was another one. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. They've all spoken, you know, in some way, different perspective of that sacred space. So how is it? How can we get? How is, you know? And in what ways do you? I would ask, what ways do you? What do you do as a practice? You know, to get you into that flow state. Is it dance? Do you just listen to music? Do you write? Do you draw? What is it that we can do? This is all a form of chi. Everything we do, even when we draw, when we write, we're emitting out some energetic frequencies. You know, from thought. Um, Creates pictures, and then from the pictures in our mind, we're able to use our hand connection, the mind and the hand, and it sends a signal to the heart. Actually, and the heart shoots out a generating energy, and it shoots it into the hand. And here we are with a pencil, and we give the energy of writing. We give the energy of, we create the energy of drawing, designing, you know, sculpting. You know, the energies in the hand, the fingers are very, very scientifically even proven to hold energetic frequencies. And spiritual energy, every hand, even the palm, it represents the cosmos. You know, there's a planet, there is elemental energies with every finger. That's why we train mudras. Mudras are like sort of the sigils or the keys to unlocking spiritual vortexes around us, and where we can harness chi, more energy. You know, and how do we direct? What do we use? How can we transmute energy, anger into love, or jealousy, and it comes in when we may feel it, and we transmute it into an unconditional space of acceptance. You know, and I think I saw someone in here mention the word acceptance. It's right, Charnay. Acceptance, you know. If we can't accept ourselves the way we are, there is no way we can accept others. No matter what we tell ourselves, if we cannot accept ourselves, we cannot accept the normal state, the naturalness of others. We will pick them apart, just like we pick ourselves apart, you know. And it's one of the things that, I know I had to work on, being growing up. My childhood was very rough. I was smaller than everybody. I was a young kid that had glasses at an early age, and so I used to get picked on a lot. And I was very artistic and quiet, um, very innovative. I didn't like to, be around a lot of people because it just really just made me nervous. Because I just wasn't understanding. I was very artistic, and they didn't, we didn't connect until later. When I actually started to come out my shell a little bit more and play sports and stuff like that. But back then, that's what we learned how to shut down, and those childhood traumas, and some things we may not even remember. Being picked on, it can really, really, truly, even though it may be embarrassing to some, it can truly have a huge like impact on your life later on. Down the road, as we know, it can really make us become very passive and very easily manipulated and things like that, and just it sort of can tune down the intuition or the spirit or the energy in the gut that actually has us keeps us in a state where we are self-fulfilled and have a self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-understanding. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So I did say that before we end this, I'm gonna give you a new moon ritual. um, it's something I would like to do now. Before I do that, I also want to mention and bring up that here in Las Vegas, we will be doing upcoming retreats, ceremonies, events, and different activities that we will be collectively as a community coming together, small villages, and we're going to be bringing these sacred teachings to you live. It will be opportunity to uh, sign up. There'll be opportunities to actually travel to Las Vegas. So there's different sacred spots in Vegas. There's outside of Las Vegas that you may not even know exist. Vegas is not all parties and and drinking and all of this stuff, but there are some very sacred spots outside of Vegas. Some of them that are very, very closely related to the feeling of being in Egypt, in Tibet and things like that. And so we will be taking different groups to different places out here in the mountains, and we'll be doing qigong together. We'll be doing meditation. We'll be doing yoga, movement, sound therapy. We have a feet washing ceremony that we'll be doing. We'll be doing a sacred goddess movement ceremony. We'll be doing sacred womb healing. We'll be learning qigong healing, medical side of how to heal. We'll be learning how to heal with plants. We'll actually be walking, hiking out into the mountains together, and literally with our bags and with our notebooks and pointing out plants. Oh, hey, this plant right here is to treat this, or this plant here is for diabetes. This plant here is for cancer. This plant here is for growing your hair. Just basic things. But we'll be doing these things in Las Vegas. We'll also be traveling to other parts of the place. And if you have any suggestions of either discussions, conversations of things that we may want to learn, talk about on these live discussions, and places that you may want to visit, places that you always say, hey, I've always wanted to take a trip, group trip here, just throw it out, dish it out into the chat. Also, you can send an email. I will, after this video, put my email, put our group email, our company email inside of the description below, to make sure that you can email us and send us things that you may want to hear, uh, things that you may want to see this year and experience. If I don't know the answer, trust me, I will go and find. I have so many friends, amazing friends that are experts. Some of them are way more expert in areas than I am, and we would get them on board and have them to help, because this is how we're going to do it this year, you all. There's nothing like a community, and there's no true chain link without all the links linking together. One link stands alone, it just won't get it, and so we are moving into a flow state of togetherness and collective forces. So I did say, I will do a new moon ritual. So if you have pen and paper right now, I would advise to bring it out, because a lot of these rituals are going to be rituals that, they're either passed down rituals, or they are downloaded inside of meditation, and they come in different times. I like to stargaze at night, and going into the early morning. And I like to also experience the sun gazing, when the first rising of the sun. In our last video, we talk about the event horizon, so make sure you check this video out. The last YouTube live we did on the number 7, we talked about the event horizon, what that is. But I love to sort of tune into this time period where the sun is literally at a horizon. It's the peak, right, the second right before the sun rises over the horizon, and you see this light. But it's not just like any light. It's like a different type of light that's arranged from the aura of the sun. And this is the time where you can get a lot of amazing things that comes out of the cosmos naturally. Some things are not even written in books. So some of these rituals are not in books. I do have a lot of references and books and sources that we use, and if I ever use any references, I will list them so that you can go back and within yourself, and grab the book and do things like that. We also have a private Zoom class that we're teaching esoteric teachings in our academy. If you are interested, it's not something that is just marketed, but if you are interested in joining uh, our journey, we will be talking about the trips and ceremonies and the activation retreats that we'll be doing. Please email me. Please email me. I will have my email again listed in the description, and let me know that you're interested in joining our academy, which is a different process, and we will be doing a lot of classes privately on Qigong and really diving deeper into this energy frequency of this year. This year is all about energy. This year is all about connection. This year is all about understanding this and applying it to our daily lives. All right, so if you got some pen and paper, I'm going to give out this new moon ritual for this Aquarius moon, something you can do. And this moon was gifted to me by the Queen Goddess Oshun Funke. Uh, and this is a part of one of the new moon rituals that she does with her with a sacred womb healing ceremony that she does all over the world. It's a very, very powerful one. I have seen this one literally transform people's lives. It's called the Fifth Element Moon Ritual. The Fifth Element Moon Ritual. We'll be giving this one away for free as a gift. So number one, step one, what you're gonna do, you're gonna write down on paper, preferably brown paper. If you can find some brown parchment paper or something like that, it's more potent. But if you have any paper, is fine. Um, Write down on paper what you would like to see manifested in your life. You will write down something long term and something short term. Okay. Number two, we'll start the activation of that thing. So you will close your eyes and focus on the vision of what it looks like, what it smells like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like, what it feels like. Activating the senses of already having it in your possession or becoming it, being it, as if it was now, like right now. That may take a little bit of time, but just keep working on it. Remember, this new moon is about perseverance. No matter how long something takes, take one step at a time. Baby turtle steps. Okay? Number three, by way of fire, we will burn it in a safe place or a safe space where you can have a controlled fire, where you can actually collect the ashes. So be mindful of where you burn it, so you don't burn it in the wind and the ashes blow away, and then this one you want to actually, that's a different ritual, but this one you want to actually collect the ashes. So you want to have a controlled burn. One of the things that I like to do is, like, I'll have like a cauldron or something like that, or something that I can put it inside of and keep it there, and I can burn it. I can watch the fire. I can watch um, what I wrote burn into the ashes, and then once it cools down, I just collect the ashes out. Okay? And the last step, and I'll tell you why these steps are important. The last step, number 4, is to bury the ashes in the ground, in the soil. I like to do it. I prefer to do it underneath a specific tree, and a tree that represents something that's growing, that's going to grow for all times. A tree that can last and can survive a harsh weather, um, things like that. And I like to use evergreen trees, just for the simple fact, symbiotically, they represent longevity. They can last. They just as beautiful in the winter with snow as they are in the summer, year round. And I have two more. I'm sorry, two more steps. After you bury, this is step number 5. You water the spot. You use water to actually water the spot as if you just buried a seed in the ground and you're watering the seed. Literally, you're doing this physically, not just only mentally, but physically. You have some water and you're pouring it into the ground. Remember, the mind and the body is everything we do is symbiotic. So that's how we respond. By symbol, by way of doing it, we actually are actually creating it. And number 6, we affirm with our breath, which represents ether, the space, the molecules. With our breath, the life force or the chi, we affirm the words, it's already done. So as we're pouring the water, we just continuously, just constantly visualize that thing that we've concentrated on for so long. We've done this ritual. And as we're pouring and concentrating at the same time, we're connecting the visual thoughts with the action of the water hitting the soil. And we're seeing the water actually go in the soil, and it's connecting with the ashes, and the ashes are turning into even more of a substance that's just pulling even deeper into the earth center and core, and is being collected by the Great Mother as something that we desire and we want to see in our lives, like truly in our lives, be manifested. So it's called a fifth element moon ritual. And this moon ritual has utilizing all of the elements. We're using the mind, of course, which is a etheric element, the mind. The world is all mental. When we burn it, we're using by way of fire. And when it actually burns and it turns to smoke, we're using air. When we bury the ashes in the ground, we're using earth element. And when we pour the water into the earth, that's what we're using. We're using the element of water as well. So this is the new moon ritual, and it's also considered a chant as well that we can do. So this is something, after you do this ritual, I would say do it tonight during this new moon, because just by starting tomorrow, the moon is going to start waxing. It's going to start taking those desires on into the ether. It's going to start the process. It's like shipping out a letter. It's like, you want the letter to get somewhere, like, when you ship something out, you write out the information where you want it to go exactly. You have to make sure that we have the address right and things like that, and we get your stamp, whatever, however you do it. Even a text message, you got to make sure you put someone's name in there where you want them to deliver that message. It's the same here with this ritual. You put out in this ritual where you want it to go, where you want to see yourself, and you really focus on this. And it's something you can do even after the ritual. You can meditate each rising. You can meditate at night or throughout the day. You can keep affirming that same thing. It's already done. Every time since you have initiated this ritual, every time you say the words "it's already done," it's going to activate that thing that we worked out. Okay, so that is the new moon ritual. And yeah, and comment, in the chat, and email me when I put, email me and send me an email. I would like to hear from you all that's actually doing this and you're on this journey. Let me know how you're feeling, and you know, give me some feedback on this ritual and how it's working for you. It's really what it's about. And share this with your family, share this with your friends, and share this with everyone, that you know. Don't be afraid. Like this year, don't be afraid. Like, really, don't be afraid of being yourself. Everybody's spiritual. It's no way we cannot be spirit. We are spirit before we are body, and that's just the truth of things. And so we have been a slump, like sleep state, for way too long, and this is what's going on. The earth is sort of waking our spirits up. All right, so we have a little bit of time for a little Q&A. I'm gonna leave it for about 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna let you all go so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here again. If anybody here, if you have any questions, please in the chat, let's dish them out. We got a Q&A here, and we may get up on a little small discussion. We never know. Again, don't be afraid to be your spiritual self. Be thyself so you can know thyself. It's very important. Be yourself so you can know yourself. It's all about the heart chakra. This year is living in your heart. Like, your heart knows. Your heart stores more memory than the brain. Your heart knows your past lives. Your heart knows your future. Your heart knows it all. It's just trying to feel and be. And so most of the time we let our logical mind and analytical mind of like work, friends, colleagues and things, people, our environment sort of disrupt our energy frequencies, our centers of what we really are meant to be doing. So don't be afraid to be yourself, this year. This is all about, as you can see, the first new moon of the year is all an innovative moon of being yourself. Aquarius energy is all about being yourself, being the rebel of you, like, what do you want to be doing in this world? Who do you want to be? Don't let no one else dictate, who you're meant to. Well, you're supposed to be this, because no, not really. No, we are, the governors. We're the self-sovereign governors of our life, our beings. We decide, and this year, remember, you can manifest anything you want based on your mind. If you believe you can't, you're right. If you believe that you can, you're also right. Both are right. All right, let me get some questions. Anybody have any questions before we get out of here in the chat? Thank you all for coming in. This is a beautiful discussion. I appreciate you all for supporting. I was supporting. Also, I will have my information in the description. I'm glad I just remembered that. Of the podcast, we will be um, expanding the podcast a little bit more. And the podcast is on a lot of esoteric teachings and wisdom and things like that. Discussions on some of the same subjects that we're doing here in the YouTube live, and we'll be bouncing back and forth on some of the things we'll be talking about in the Zoom. Now the Zoom is different. We go deep in the Zoom. And it's because it's more people. People can actually engage more. We can see faces, and we're actually inside of like a class like structure. We have books that we're studying and learning through. We're actually a lot of books that we're studying where there's locations like sacred locations that you probably never knew of, or and we're actually planning to go there physically. Trips we're going on mission trips, and we'll be activating in those energetic vortex spaces, and just having some fun, traveling the world. That's what we're meant to be doing, so we're going to be doing that, but we're going to be talking about that in a Zoom. So again, once I post the email, feel free to burn the email up and, send your information of you wanting to be a part of these things. I will also post that podcast. I think we got a question. We got one question on here. Let's see. What is the first step you would give in finding your authentic self? Oh, good question, Ivy. So Ivy asked the question, what is the first step? What is the first step you would give in finding your authentic self? Okay. I would leave that open. Anybody else in here that would like to answer that, would like to, comment on that? What are your what anybody have any experience of something that they are story, something they have done? Leave it in the chat. I would say one of the first steps to find the authentic self is to give back to yourself. The self is a child. We think of like I have a brand new son right now. He's really little, but I'm realizing how innocent the child is. A child's mind is just so like, it's like a new moon. It's really a new moon. It's so like receptive to everything. It's learning every single thing. This is where the place that we learn vibration and being sensitive and compassionate with ourselves. So that's one of the things I would say, give back to yourself, treat yourself. Treat yourself to yourself, meaning like um, the way that we have lived based on the context of the world, let that part go. Like if you had stripped everything from yourself, if you stripped your job, your career, your titles, your names, all of these things that you were born into, if you stripped it all, who are you? Who are you if you stripped everything away? Stripped all your money, all the power, all the riches, everything, the cars, the house, all of that good stuff, all of these toys that we use, these physical objects, who are we? So it's the self at the end of the day. It's the energy of the self. We can't take those physical objects with us to the other dimensions. And other dimensions, you don't need them. You don't want them. Um, there's ways to live in a higher state within yourself and still have those things. It's just the understanding of the association with those things and how we attach to them. Because a lot of us, we have too many attachments. We have too many attachments to ideas that have been sort of forced onto us that we can't even remember where it came from. We just believe it, and that's it. We never question. It's another thing. We never question what we're told. You know, if I'm telling, don't believe nothing I'm saying. If I'm whatever I'm telling you here, and you wrote down, you go look it up for yourself. We have the right to, discover ourselves by way of like, let me go and do my own inner work on this and ask myself, what do I really want to do? Deep down inside, it may be some other things that we want to do that we may just have suppressed within ourselves and not giving ourselves the opportunity or allowing ourselves to do it because why? We may felt like we don't deserve it. You know, being in a non-deserving state. Sometimes the way we are raised up, which we can't. A lot of times we can't control that. It's a part of the lesson. It's a part of us learning what to do different. I was raised a specific way. Very religious background. My mom was extremely strict on religion, and I really wasn't into it like that. I used to like the music, and I love some of the teachings, but the extra stuff, I was like, no, like the condemning and it's just a lot of negativity, and so that plays an effect on your psyche. When you get older, you start to do the same thing, like, oh my God, I'm being like my mother, I'm being like my father. Oh my God, I need to let this stuff go. I have to heal. I have to like realize that this is a new world. I have to transmute that energy. They did the best that they could at what they knew how to do. But me, I am the staple in the ground of the change. I am the stake. I'm the change. I'm the foundation These are the affirmations that we can say to ourselves. I'm meant to be something different. I'm meant to do what I want to do, no matter if people like me or not, because I like me, and it's giving that self love to self is everything. I teach this to my children. I teach this to um, my godchildren. I teach this to my students. I teach this to everyone I meet. When we look at others, we're looking at ourselves, like looking in the mirror. So when I do my best to present my energy the way that I actually want to feel. And so this is another way. But I would say it's a really good question, Ivy. It really got me going. But it just reminded me of some times that I will be sharing a lot of my private stories and stuff like that in our Zoom. So if you're interested, I will be sharing a lot of things about the industry and my experiences of being in the entertainment industry and how it really played a real toll on my mind and my psyche. And I really had to work on myself a lot, and I had to heal myself because of it. What's glamorous on the outside is not always the truth on the inside. Trust me, a lot of the celebrities can vouch for that. A lot of them are trapped. They really are. They're not happy no matter what they're telling or showing, or so it's very important to look what's beyond the veil, beyond the veil. Um, and to see what's really going on, what's how we really are feeling on the inside about anything. And to understand, if you want to make a change in our life, the time is now. The time is really now. This is the time. During this new moon, you can start with this new moon ritual, whether you believe it or not. There's another thing. The universe don't really kind of operate on like our human personal opinions. The universe doesn't operate. It don't really shift to our opinions like that. What the universe really shifts and responds to is just the energy that you put out. If you say I don't believe this, you just sent a thought wave out into the universe, and the universe said, "Oh, okay, you don't believe that? Cool. Well, I'm just gonna keep giving you a whole bunch of more stuff to just not believe in, because that's what you want. That's what you're asking for. That's what you're invoking. That's what you're putting out. You're pushing out. And this technique we teach in our classes, I learned from one of my beautiful teachers. Um, it's called um, um, a wave casting. It's when we send out thoughts as waves, and it's we're doing it all the time, whether we know it or not, whether we believe it or not. We are manifesting constantly. So, and if you some things that you say, what, I want to make billions of dollars, and I want to travel the world, and I want to literally experience things I've never gotten to experience, and I want to do it. And if you really meditate on that, you do this new moon ritual, and you really activate that energy. You do all of the qigong, the Merkaba activations. You send that thought wave out. Guess what's going to happen to you eventually? Guess what's going to happen to you? You will be living that lifestyle. I will always say, aim towards the furthest planet that you can't even see. You're gonna hit something. You're gonna hit the moon. You're gonna hit a star. You're gonna hit Sirius A. You may even hit Sirius B. You're gonna hit something. You're gonna land on something, and that's the only proof that you need, is that manifestation is real for you. It may not be real for someone else, but if it's real for you, then by way of thought, live by that. Live that code. Live that code with courage, and stand up for your beliefs, and stand up for yourself. It's going to be very important, this year. Is that self love. That's true self love. Self love is being able to um, embrace thyself the way you are, and actually just live it, and by way of doing that, what you're naturally doing is you're pushing out your energy, your aura field into the ether of where everyone is. You're not forcing no one to join you or be like you. No, you're just being like yourself. You're being you. You're just being you, and then therefore others will just like, well, you know what, I want to be like that. Like I really want to have that way of believing. And so we have that. You're doing this. You're here now. You're doing it now. This is it. So I welcome you to join on this adventure, because it is an adventure, and it's going to really um, expand even more. Okay, so found info. Okay, we got any other questions before we get out of here? We're right at that hour 30 mark, so I want to make sure I'm not holding too long. But if there's any other questions, I would like to, you know, answer them. So Miss Jonda says, found info saying that it is the year of rapid manifesting thoughts and feelings. And she said, why this year? That is a really good question. Why do you all think this year? Drop something in the comments. Why do you think that this year is the rapid manifesting of thoughts and feelings? I would say because it could be connected to the last video we did about it being the year seven, because seven represents a spirit year. It's meaning like this whole year is inside the spirit realm, and the spirit realm is also merged with ours. So this is where like that Pisces energy is sort of shifting into that understanding of the spirit and the earthly is now merging. Boom. And it's connected. And then this is what brings about that expansion of the golden age. Because now these ancestors that are able to like sort of reincarnate back in the physical space, they have not forgotten, where they come from. They incarnated back. They didn't have like the forgetful effect that we may have had. They actually brought all that stuff back with them from the ancestral realm, and they just here. I was looking at my son the other day, and I could have sworn he was just talking to me with his eyes, and he was teaching me. He was looking at me like it was very. I was like, whoa, man, you like not even you 4 months, and he already has this mastery, And so I do believe that the ages or the worlds are merging this year. So that could be one of the reasons. Very intuitive year where our intuition, our chi, our energy is going to be more vibrant, more vital to us. We can feel it. We can have like, wait a minute, I'm feeling something. So I would say do your best to do some self-healing work. Get into a lot of holistic medicine this year. Stay out of the um, hospitals this year, because a lot of people are going to be feeling this energetic shift, and they really don't have the technology to tell you what that is, and they're not going to tell you this stuff. They're not going to. So that's what I would say is just stay away from that way of being, and just get more into a energetic, holistic approach on things. Yep. All right. If that's it, thank you all for tuning in. There's not any more questions. We're right at that hour and 30 mark, and I want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And get out there and do that new moon, and let it sit within you if it's something that you feel that you would like to do. And really concentrate on your thoughts and your emotions of how you want to move forward and manifest this year. Also, like I said, I will be putting that email inside of the description, and feel free to email me and make any requests that you would like. And also, if you would like to join any of the other platforms that will be listed soon as an option. Love you all. Thank you again for tuning in, and happy new moon. Peace.